It feels weird to say this. Dupree is, you just saw him on the way to his seat. That's a little spoiler, but it is going to be Luminosity versus Astralis, and it is weird to say that one of these teams is going home. This is a very unusual feeling that Luminosity, defending major champions, and Astralis, usually, let's be honest, walk through group stages without a flutter of their eye, and now here they are in an elimination match. Matt's joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm good, and you?
You kind of surprised by this? I'm feeling good, actually.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about this is for Astralis, and I've said this a few times today while casting, if they were to get eliminated right now to Luminosity, it would be 2 out of 3 Pro League finals that they bottom out, tank out in the groups. Now, a little bit different format in this one as well, because there's a best of 3. The first one, we could kind of say the best of 1 upset potential kind of threw people off, but this time, it's not a best of 1 with Fnatic. It is a best of 3 with Luminosity, and not only that, both these teams were eliminated at the last major, I hate the word major, but the last large-scale international event that they were at, DreamHack Malmo, they both went out in groups.
And that's going to be, I mean, that's kind of the monkey on their back for both of these teams. It was definitely for LG. Is that another expression that you, yeah. He always laughs at my English expressions. The proof is in the pudding, and got tickled in for about 6 hours. But yeah, but that has been a problem. And you saw LG, they came in with a real fire in Austin, but trying to get rid of that, and they felt like they did. They picked up that tournament win. Same can't be said for Astralis, Janko.
Definitely. I feel that in their respective games, I think the Astralis was just outplayed. It really reminded me of the game at Pro League Season 1 when they were playing against the Brazilians, although in a different lineup. They were outplayed in that game as well. While Luminosity, okay, also defeated, obviously, but I just felt that they kind of took it too far in the second half with those force buys and kind of shot themselves in the foot, and G2 was able to exploit on that. So now both teams are in a situation where they were expecting probably to play each other in the winner's match, but now they're both playing for survival.
And so with the recent dip in Astralis' performance, we've actually seen players go out and publicly state over on Twitter, you know, we are officially in a slump and things like this. I mean, how long has it been since we saw Astralis at that top 4 team, you know, that we've always kind of crowned them to be? It's been a long time that we've always held them in such high regard. When do we start, you know, putting them in lower brackets?
I mean, the hard part is right now with the schedule is so busy that we're very critical of recent form, but there's still a lot of other results to look at. Even at the major, they did make it to the semifinal. Yes, they went out, but it was another semifinal that they did reach again, top 4 form. They're focusing on because there was a month spread sort of between Malmo and here, that they did go out in groups. Online, they have been iffy, but that's online. I don't take too much from that. You know, this is a really hard time for them to put that much pressure on themselves. I think that more stems from the mentality within the team that they haven't been able to get over and reach the objective of winning out various tournaments, because I don't see this as a slump as much as the Virtus Pro slump or anything like that. I just see this as 2 tournaments with unfortunate results.
And maybe this one can be the turn of the tide. It is, though, time to look at the veto. And, of course, with the best of 3, it will look a little more spicy. Cobble removed by the Danes. It looked like the Brazilians were not interested in cash. Of course, that is their guaranteed ban. And picks, look at this. Okay. Does 2 overpass and train the map pool.
Yeah, I mean, the vetoes are pretty straightforward. It's the vetoes that these 2 teams go for. And, you know, I was interested to see what the teams are going to pick actually, because Astralis, I would have expected them maybe to pick Overpass, but Dust 2 is a map that Luminosity just introduced into their pool. They're undefeated on it in North America, but probably Astralis feels that, you know, they can take them on that map, and in turn, Luminosity actually picks Overpass, which Astralis is probably really happy about, because if they didn't pick Dust 2, they would probably go for Overpass. I'm kind of surprised that LG didn't go for Mirage here, because, you know, it's what they used to pick all the time at the major. It's probably their strongest map.
I actually think you're dead right on this, and they have been working Dust 2, but that is strictly due to the fact that Inferno's gone and Nuke's back in. So I would have expected coming into this tournament with the former map pool as it were throughout the season, we would have still seen the Dust 2 auto ban. So Astralis slipped that in, and then Mirage doesn't come right back up against them. Perhaps they're trying to catch them off. I think this favors with Dust 2 in there as the first map, and the way Luminosity have, again, you say in North America playing well, but still shaky results. I think this favors Astralis in some ways. However, they're still going against Luminosity, who I think are the better team. So it's, you know,
it's a toss-up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that Astralis could not get a better map pool than this. So if Astralis cannot beat them in this best of 3 right here, they wouldn't have beaten them in another, you know, map pool basically that they have gotten. But both teams have been underperforming today, so it's gonna come down to basically, you know, whether they can show up actually to this game.
And with that said, you heard what the guys at the desk have to say. Let us know your thoughts on this matchup. We'd love to know over on the hashtag ESL Pro League. You can throw that at ESLCS. It should be all around here at various intervals. So you go ahead and be sure to head over to Twitter. It's easy to find. Or if you're a Facebook kind of guy, hit us at ESLCS. It's the same. Just throw a slash at the end of facebook.com and you can go ahead and let us know how this best of 3 is going to play out. It does seem like a tough one for the desk to call, and that's why we're going right now. Quickly, gents, just give me a name.
LG, because I want LG and AP.
Okay, fair. And you believing in Astralis?
Key to the series for Astralis, Dust 2. I think they should take that, but overall, I think it's LG that should win this. They looked sluggish this morning I know you said one word, from travel, but Astralis definitely looked less the team, in my opinion, so I think LG.
Well, speak of the devil, Dust 2, that we will be back after that map to discuss it. Looks like you're believing that LG's success on Dust 2 may be short-lived here versus a European challenge. Let's have a look, though, as we do begin to dive into this best of 3.
Welcome back to ESL Pro League. Surprising matchup.
Yep.
Luminosity and Astralis.
It's definitely an interesting matchup. We've seen some crazy results today. Obviously, Luminosity dropping down to G2 and Astralis going down to Optic. That's probably the surprise of the day, I have to say. But here we go then. Loser of this is actually out the tournament, Moses. Who would have thought we're saying this? This could be like a semi-final or a grand final in itself.
Yeah, it really could be, and that's nuts that both of these teams. And this, I mean, we've mentioned a couple times throughout the day on the desk, especially Astralis just having nightmarish flashbacks to Pro League Season 1, where they got knocked out by Fnatic in the similar situation where both teams get upset, and now facing the same kind of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Astralis as well. They look pretty poor today. They lost on Inferno, a strong map for them against Optic. Probably renowned as the weakest team here, I would say, by some margin. 16-7 on Inferno. Yeah,
that's pretty disgusting to think about, isn't it? And also, I mean, what's crazy about it too is Astralis. You know, the first time they ever went out in groups was Malmo.
Yeah,
I mean, they might just back it up 2 in a row here.
They're normally renowned as the champion of the group stage. That's what we talk about them all the time. It's when they get to the semi-finals, that's when the choking syndrome comes in. It's not been these group stages. This could actually be tournament life on the line against the current major champions going into this one. That's a pretty scary prospect.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, a team that, like top to bottom, all these players on Luminosity have been sick lately. Have been just absolutely insane. And actually, I mean, especially this map, double op setup for Luminosity has been nuts. They've been living and dying by it on the CT side. It's been mostly living.
Yeah, absolutely. Cold Zera is one of the players that really impressed me. Someone who's had that kind of tenacity to be able to do world-class rifling and able to keep up with Fall on the AWP as well. That's kind of sick in its own right. Going into Dust 2, though, Luminosity, this is not a map they traditionally play. They're trying to bring it into their map pool now, recently, obviously, with Nuke coming in and Inferno being removed. They're kind of trying to add an extra string to their bow. I've casted quite a lot of their Dust 2 games right now in ECS, and it seems like it's not really that convincing for me right now. They are beating like the lower echelons of the NA scene, but still for me, haven't got that really good result that kind of affirms to me they're actually going to be competitive on this map.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that we talked about it in Austin. They were actually like going into Austin, they were undefeated on it this year. But I mean, it is exactly what you said. It's against other North American teams, so it's really hard to draw that parallel or that conclusion if you want to transfer that kind of information over to the European opponents. And especially this is such a weird map because this is normally, we've all said at one point this was a map that Astralis was probably the best team in the world on Dust 2.
Yeah.
But they still had this tendency to drop it from time to time, even despite being the best on it. They fumble it with pretty consistent.
Well, it looks like we're ready to get into this one. It's going to be Luminosity versus Astralis in our first decider game. I assume we're not going into a knife. Oh no, it's not. It's best of 3, right? Yeah, so it's just a knife for the final round. That's right. Yeah.
For the third map, I think it's the third map. There will be a knife.
Yeah. So it's going to be Astralis on the T side, then Luminosity on the CT. We are going to need to get it to one. It looks like we have got a bomb on the server, which is always good.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's a nice start.
How ridiculous was that?
That was great. My favorite thing about that was Optic didn't even realize how unorganized must you be. They're not even say like, I'll plant the bomb. I won't go in first. Just make sure we don't see the bomb in our rush. They don't even realize. That's how prepared those guys are, ready to go.
Well, then they win 16-7.
Of course.
Yeah.
That is. Anyway, then we are into this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Astralis versus Luminosity. Zipex and Carrigan, both with smoke grenades and flashbangs. We have got a boost coming in from Luminosity as well. Going to be digging for that information. There's only one player, just Fur by himself. It's kind of unorthodox, but let's get away with this.
Yeah, just straight up pushing catwalk. He gets dropped, and now it's a little bit scary. I mean, 4 on 5 now.
That's normally fine, though. 2 CTs, that works. But with 1, for me, it doesn't really make sense. They're getting punished for it now. Astralis is waiting for it. They will be capitalizing now, pushing up to the catwalk, take down FNX, and their path of Fallen. He's stepping up from the crossover. He gets the first kill, but getting pincered from long as well. Somehow he's not dead, though. Still fighting. And he will be left at 18 HP. It looks like Astralis will run away with this one at this stage because it's going to be a 4-on-1 with just Fallen remaining. They know where he is as well. Simple round there for Astralis. And just to reiterate that point, it's absolutely fine boosting players up towards short, but you normally always have two there. You can go aggressive. You need players trading frags, or you can have, and you ideally want a CT in those mid doors, flashing you as you go around the corner there. It's so high risk. I think it used to work very effectively in late 2015 and early 2016, but now everyone's so ready for it, and that's exactly what Astralis do. Wait for the aggression to come in, take that player down, you're rushing in, you're just taking advantage of that situation.
Yeah, also importantly as well is that Luminosity had no plan behind that to back it up if it went down, and it went south and then they had nothing to recover from. Fallen's going to be stuck on the other one with a scout. And somehow, again, he lives with 3 HP.
Yeah.
FNX is going to be on the rotate. They're completely blind out in the open. This is pretty good rotate. A lot of damage is dealt. Dupree and Zipnix are very, very low, so Luminosity isn't out of this just yet.
Yeah, it's the key with the scout. Just get a few tags up and then leave some open windows here for those remaining Deagles and CZs. It's going to be Zipex and Dupree, very low HP. There's one bullet from those pistols will take them down. But they can slow things down at this point. They've got 1 minute 20, don't need to overcommit. They have smokes, but it looks like the CTs just want to face and get that one shot coming in.
Yeah, and they also have no map control, so they're pretty much dedicated to this long hit. Now, fortunately, it's going to work out in their favor initially. Still a little bit of danger. Taco's going to be up on Catwalk. FNX is going to try and find something through Soka. Timing that he can push, but Taco has to get a kill with this Deagle if there's any opening for FNX, and there's not going to be.
I don't think so. It looks like the jumping shot will be the last-ditch attempt here. But Taco coming out towards short as well. This could get a little bit interesting. But look at the setup the terrorists have right now. They've got a platform plant down. Not really much CT can do here. Decent damage from FNX. Gets Carrigan as well. So maybe there is a window still available. Dupree coming around from short, though. He'll be coming in for the pincer. Looks like they are slightly aware of it, though. It's going to be Taco waiting for him on the corner, but he gets his head ripped off. Dupree secures the round, and FNX looks like he will be just trying to save at this point. He's in towards the B site. He's got head armor, so obviously very valuable taking to the next round. But it's still Astralis recovering from quite a hairy situation. Zipex and Dupree taking a lot of damage from that scout. Seems like Fallen, is world-class orbing as well, but this scout is so scary.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
It was, for me, the original best scout players was Chris J, MBK, but it seems like Fallen now. I think he's taken the crown as probably the best and most versatile scout player in terms of his consistent damage and kills he's finding throughout.
Yeah, what's insane about it is his movement with that scout, where he barely just exposed himself to any danger. He's able to get shots off, and just with the rate that he shoots it, of course he's going to get a headshot eventually with the amount of shots that he gets off with it.
That's true. And we were casting him on train earlier. It's the amount of quick scoping and movement he's going with that one. It's actually pretty scary. But
this has been a pretty cool opening from Astralis on this map. If you think back to these 2 rounds, pistol round was they get that opening kill on Fur, and they basically just rush Catwalk off that.
Yeah.
The next round was the anti-eco.
That's what Dust 2 is all about, though, really, isn't it? It's not so much about having the set executions and the strategies. It's a lot of our mid-round calls as well. If you do find kills and you have the feeling that you can get a decent rotation out of the CTs, is going in straight away with the man advantage can be very viable, especially with an early kill like that. So it's not surprising to see them reacting that way. But it's going to be the CTs now pushing up towards middle, actually applying a lot of pressure towards that scout. That's going to be Device taking a lot of damage as well, down to 26, and he should be dropped here unless he can do some wondrous work with the CZ. Doesn't happen, and now a couple of frags going in favor of the CTs. It's a 3-on-3. Bomb being planted. Still shouldn't have much to play with here. I think at this point, probably saving the AK might be a viable option. Let's see what they can do with this one. Fallen drops. Now, okay. Taco with a lovely little shot there to take down Cajun.
There's still a chance to go for it if they want. You can see Zipnix almost looked like he wanted to go on the chase and maybe cut them off, but he realizes they could still come for this bomb, and it's not planted for him at long at all, so he's got to be careful. And it does seem like at least FNX is going to be the one close up. Taco swung out, he gets dropped, and the jumping pistol is going to do nothing. So again, Astralis take a lot of damage. Close out the round, though. Their economy's okay.
It's not fantastic.
No.
They can get a glass cannon orb and M4s or potentially FAMASs just to have the extra utility here. We've got a pause coming in. This is technical, I assume. Yeah, it is. So Zipex calls a technical pause. That's a lovely shot from Device. I missed that originally.
Yeah, but really good job in this round. And even the previous one, Luminosity doing some damage onto Astralis, getting some guns out of their hands, forcing some rebuys. Obviously, on the T side, it's a little bit easier to manage.
Well, this is the round from the terrorists now. This is always my favorite round to try and read as an in-game leader. Obviously, the terrorists know the money's weak for CTs. They probably won't have incendiaries. This is when you look at the spawn right now Astralis has. I'd be calling this the B-Rush right now. They won't have the incendiaries actually hold you off. They have the lack of utility to actually go for the retake as well. Orb. Potentially have one, but it might not necessarily be in the right position. There's definitely no double orbs going on right now. So I think that the spawn they have and the weaponry with the Galils and stuff like that, I think just go for the straight up B rush.
Okay, so there's 2 things that we can note here is maybe because building on that point, you can see the similar thought on Luminosity because they go for the FAMASs just so they can have some extra utility. They don't have any Molotovs out, but at least they have some scouts and flashbangs if they do feel that rush coming. Second is, you question Taco maybe wanting to save that AK-47 in the last round. That could be an AK instead of a FAMAS, so that's also able to have able to have a Molotov, also have a full utility and a kit as well. So just that one AK-47 could, that's a small thing, but you never know at this level. Those are the things that make those differences.
After you force buy on the second round of CT, I always feel like it's worth its weight in gold, even to save one weapon just to help balance the books a little bit more. It's so difficult to recover these CT economic crises. Like, it's happened so many times, especially when we were in Korea recently. It seems like the Asian teams didn't have this understanding that you can actually save in the second round.
You can choose to save a weapon.
You can choose. Just in general, though, even on the second round, you don't always have to force by the CTs. It's like, it seems like it's the understood meta right now. You have to force in the second. I don't think that's true, especially if you have a lead going into the second half. You don't have to force into it and put yourself at a disadvantaged position.
I think it is a little bit. Is that when you're playing, you always remember those second rounds that you win. You don't really remember the ones you lose. So the payoff is like, oh, we have a 70-30 chance of winning this, or 30-70 chance of winning it. So might as well just go for it.
That's the thing, right? Like, I think Renegades, that was one of the teams I was applauding that weekend. They seem to have a real understanding. If you do have an advantage, like let's say a 10-5 going into the second half and you lose a pistol, you're thinking, okay, so let's work this out. We can have that 30% chance of winning the second round, or we could go into the first gun round and actually play our game and not actually take massive risks here and actually have the grenades, have the AWPs.
Yep.
And that was something that was really cool just to see a team that had a real understanding of that kind of percentage chance sort of thing going on.
Yeah, and I know that to you especially, I've seen you tweet about it, and to most of I know Yanko and myself feel the same way. Is that when you see teams that have those huge leads going into the second half and they force buy on that second round, it's just kind of like, please don't do that.
Yeah, it's
play for your lead.
Obviously, when teams get away with it, it's just like, it looks brilliant. It looks like, oh, that's the best thing they've ever done, and what an amazingly skilled team. And that's absolutely true. There are some very skilled players who are confident in their pistols. It's more about looking at the bigger picture there and working out whether this is going to be the best investment you can make to win the game as a whole. That's what you should be looking at, not to win the specific round. You're saying, how can we win the game? And that's obviously one of the high-risk maneuvers. But it looks like the buys will be coming for Luminosity. 3 FAMASs, 2 M4s, 1 kit, 1 Incendiary on FNX, though. So I'd say you probably want to get him towards B just to eliminate that B-rush possibility. But be interesting to see where Astralis go with this one. I think that
would be a really good. You mentioned just a B-rush. They have 3 players essentially having the best possible.
That's why I called it. As soon as I saw that spawn and you get this kind of round, the CT money's broken after that second round investment. Yep. This is when you call those kind of plays. Like just kind of loose. Dust 2 is one of the few maps in the game that lends itself to spawn-based calling. It's actually really true. You can actually go. You have the long spawn. You can go for a long take there. Just the first spawn and see if you can get that pick as they're crossing. Or B-rushes. It may sound like a little bit pug style, but when you can control the situation in terms of the money, a B rush done properly can be very effective. Once you have that B side, you have to smoke down on the doors and a Molotov towards window. Retakes become very difficult indeed for the CTs.
So a little bit of an extended tech pause, but yeah, we'll continue to theorycraft a little bit. What do you think a device as an AWPer on this map? Because that has been the big switch. We used to see Cajun be with it.
This is the thing right now, and especially on the CT side, they're actually still not 100% sure where they're going with it. I think Cajun B, unless I've missed something online recently, I haven't seen their online games. I spoke to Carrigan. I sat next to him on a plane recently, and they were going with Device as this main, like he's the main AWPer now in every situation, but it seems like Cajun was actually the one back on Dust 2. That's why the only place he felt comfortable was AWPing towards that A side. And I think, as far as I know right now, they're still running with that on the CT side. Obviously on the T side, it's always going to be Device. But it's kind of interesting how they went with that whole announcement that he's going to be the full-time AWPer, and that's not going to be changed at any point. And then now you can see that results are slipping and didn't feel as comfortable. And if some of your star players don't feel like they're actually fulfilling their role, it's actually, is it like more beneficial just to let them go where they want and actually allow them to play the positions they feel best? Or do you try and force someone into like the methodology you've come up with, saying Device has to be the AWPer? So I'll be interested to see whether they actually are changing that going forward. Will they allow Cajun B just to keep doing it? It's a very known play style, that car position. It seems like most teams base their execution down to kind of counter an AWPer there. So,
and it's important that you have an AWPer that feels comfortable there. If it's Cajun, I say give it to him, just because that's a very crucial spot. A lot of decision making is required, and if you don't feel comfortable in that spot, if you don't have a good feel for which way to go, whether it's long, whether it's stay and fight, whether it's give it up for the retake, then you're going to be in an awkward spot.
Well, we still have. We've got toilet breaks coming in now as well, of course. So
naturally,
there is going to be keyboard issues and toilet breaks coming in. So we've got plenty of time here to go down every single path of theories and potential ideas. So let's go forward on this one. Luminosity, their T side, that was for me when I've cast it online. Obviously, take what you can from online games against the lower tiers of NACS. But it was a T side that actually seemed that their executions were quite poor, it was quite sloppy. They were relying very heavily on the star players just to be getting multiple frags in single rounds. Like the simple AXQ, right? Like I said, it's like a smoke CT spawn, smoke catwalk, and then you're trying to Molotov the side and flash the AWP back as much as you can. It seemed like their execution of that was actually pretty sloppy. They couldn't really kind of calculate themselves and get the timings quite right. They didn't seem to have many variations of it. Like if you see like COG, I think actually a really good team is an example of having variations of that. You know the strategy where they have Tarek go down to CT spawn?
Yep.
That's actually really effective. You can actually bait out. It's a full A take if you've done it a couple of times, and you have one player committing to the CT spawn area, then the rest of your team's going for a B split. That can be so strong. I didn't see any kind of that stuff from Luminosity. It's quite basic and kind of round driven in terms of where they're actually going with their final execution.
That's always been their kind of way of improving on maps, though, is they solidify, you know, those 3 tactics, and then they start to add the wrinkles, and they start to add things in. And I mean, this is still, it's interesting because this, like we've mentioned, this is still a new map for Luminosity, a map they generally banned.
Yeah.
Now that they're trying to add it into their pool, this is kind of a good barometer to see where they're at with it, because they have been dominant in North America on this map, even in Austin. The unfortunate part is, do you really want to test yourself in an elimination match against one of the teams who's, you know, historically been amazing on this map? And with that being said,
We're back.
The pause is undone. It was a very fast break to the bathroom. Obviously, somebody sprinted. Catheter, perhaps.
We'll see. Sounds like that way, but we are definitely back into it. AWP's out. It's going to be on device. Will they be going for the straight up B rush? They will not. So they're going to be slowing things down, potentially just into a a default mentality right now. So it's round number 4. CT's not committing to anything too heavy here, but it's actually a fast push out from Astralis. KGB gets wrecked by the Famas from Fur. And he's actually by himself in the middle as well, so that's actually a massive scalp to take.
Well, that's also a very missed smoke.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous. He's not feeling too comfortable with it. He's going to fall back, but it's fast up catwalk again. This is Astralis. They've been so aggressive in this half so far. Very fast-paced, and they see nothing at a bomb site. And there was a timer on how long they could be aggressive out towards bricks, towards that A bomb site. And now that timer kind of clicked off in their head, so they've got to fall back and kind of sustain. But look at, we mentioned the nades on the Luminosity side. They've got nothing left. They've got a smoke and 2 flashes for over a minute left.
Still a massive advantage for Astralis. They've got the AWP. They can slow things down. Device has plenty of time to find something here. He's edging his way up towards the A site, looking for anyone that'll give him an inch here. No one going to be committing at this point, though. I think this is fine for the CTs. They're waiting for the Ts to make their next move, actually commit to the site. And this could be it right now.
Unfortunately, there's no map control anywhere for Astralis. They basically have to hit the safe bomb site. And there's the drop. Fur's going to be the one to handle this. He's going to come through the smoke inside. No, he's not. Zipix gets a couple free shots, but he's eventually dropped. He missed something. FNX is still alive, and this A-Take is going nowhere. All of Luminosity is here. Fur's not able to land any shots, though, so Dupree gets 2. Still very, very low on HP on the Astralis side. But they're handling it so well.
Absolutely. Now the CTs without kits, with 1 flashbang. They're both going to be towards CT spawn as well. Possibly the worst area to try and retake the A side from. No pincer potential here. It's just going to be Astralis holding up. They have got very low HP in terms of Carrigan and Device. There's still an opportunity here, but Carrigan landing the shot onto Coldzera. Dupree finishes things off, and it was an interesting start to the round from Astralis. After all that pause time, he decided to send 1 through the mid doors by himself and not have any refrag, which gave away their first kill, but they managed to bounce back. It was a decent A execute, like we said, dropping down to CT spawn. I managed to exchange frags there, and once the CTs were at the bandits' advantages, had nothing left to actually retake with, both in CT spawn, trying to come in with no flashbangs or smokes, no kits. So
and that's kind of why you saw a very disjointed retake. You saw players just running up by their own through a smoke, trying to get up a ramp and trying to make something happen, because they don't have the utility to have a more calculated retake on that bomb site. They don't have the flashes or the nades. So they've got to just try and make those individual plays, and Astralis held them all back, but just barely.
Well, controlling the money game now. It's going to be Astralis 4-0 up. It's going to force Luminosity now onto 5-7s, Deagles, and P250s. Long take has come in for Astralis. This is obviously one of the strongest parts of the map to take. If you have control of this, and you can actually control the other flanks, so you can see Carrigan holding B tunnel, Zipex holding middle, you can just bide your time at this point. You don't need to rush into any scenario. Trying to get some intel, see if his CT will face, get a little pick. It's going to be Fallen challenging first. He gets taken down, and now they can kind of have the option to pincer the side. They'll actually be committing 4 players up towards long. Coldzera, though, and FNX finding kills here. So it's going to be a 3-on-3 still. I thought Astralis would have more convincing crossover to the site. Molotov to the face, of course.
It seemed like they employed that. There's always that debate on anti-eco rounds. Do you smoke off cross? Because then it just allows the pistols to get a little bit closer up, gives them a lot of room. But they don't do it there, and they get punished for it. Now a Device behind the smoke. Going to do some work. Swaps over to the MAC-10 very, very quickly, but he gets dropped by Fur. Right through the smoke. Must have seen the edge of him down to a 2-on-2, and these jumping Deagles are scaring the hell out of Astralis.
Absolutely. 2-on-2 situation now. The CT's still at a big disadvantage. The P250 from Coldzera edging its way in. The headshot lands, takes down Zipex, and now it's going to be Carrigan in a horrible situation. 30 seconds seconds remaining. He hasn't got the bomb as well. Still has the cross. Smoke dissipates. And this is a shot he has to hit. He goes down to 11 HP. I think this is it. Going to be dropped now. So much pressure on him. Just can't seem to find anything here. And now walking onto the ramp. That's going to be it, I think. Surely. As he does find the kill on coldzera, the plant comes in as well.
Down into the one-on-one. Kerrigan, he's got to be careful of the jump shot first, just waiting to see if he can spot him over the railing. And Kerrigan can't take a single shot, obviously, and he's just biding his time, knowing Fur's got to come up the ramp. He's just got his crosshair trained on it. There's the jump. Fur now knows where he is. The jumping off, in fact.
Please not like this.
Not like this at all. And there it is, Kerrigan, a huge 1-on-2 to win.
I didn't think he had a chance in that whatsoever. Once he got taken down to that HP and 2 CTs to fight, I thought they'd be facing right together, but they kind of separated themselves, which was surprising. And Kerrigan found his way to the site once the bomb was down. Became a much more interesting affair. But round number 6 comes in. Just quickly, I find it interesting that they actually committed fully up towards long. I think once you have long control, pincering the A side from short as well, that's got to be the best way to do it. Then you don't get wrecked through the smoke there. You have control, you have vision on both sides of the map. But regardless, we're going into the first real gun round here. Double AWPs for the CTs. And we'll see where they decide to bring them. I think there's going to be one towards the B side. That's coldzera, holding that turret sort of style. And Fallen will be on the A bomb site, kind of rotating between short, long, and towards mid.
Yeah, and this is the first real test for Astralis on their T side with this double up setup that we've seen Luminosity destroy plenty of teams with, especially on the defense. And this allows Luminosity to be much more spread out at the moment. They could be a little bit more static. Cold is going to be in the back of the B bomb site. Full mid control for Astralis. They're going to take up towards Catwalk.
Well then. Nothing really going on right now. It's just going to be Astralis slowly trying to gain information here. Dupree going to be molotoving the bomb site, try and see if he can spot someone retreating from the site here. Smoke down towards CD spawn as well. Here comes the drop as well. I should find this frag here, but it's FNX coming out on top. He's ready for it. Decent nade towards middle as well. There are going to be terrorists coming out in that area. This is a round locked down by LG. Zipex now stuck in a very difficult situation. He's got 2 teammates in the upper tunnels, but Luminosity aren't taking this bait whatsoever. They're ready for whatever move the Dane's going to present next.
Yeah, it's so important as well, Luminosity, with this switching into this double up setup, how expensive it is to keep as many people alive, especially in this first round win.
Especially with that round potential, that round reset potential coming in.
Yeah.
If you lose one after winning the next round, you need to keep as many players alive in this round, especially just to have a chance of buying. But Zipex does find a kill towards CD spawn. That's FNX. Very patient play coming in from him. And now the teammates will be making their way towards the B side. Going to find that next kill as well. coldzera comes down to him. Needs to find a kill here. There's going to be third thing on Zipex, and there it is. coldzera finds Cajun B as well. That should be the round secured with 10 seconds remaining in a 3-on-1. Still trying to get something out of this.
Cold being a little bit over-aggressive there, going for the no-scope. The plant's at least going to go down, but Cold doesn't want to challenge with just the AWP. Meanwhile, Device up on the boxes. What can he do? He's going to try and challenge, but too close up. There's the M4 from Fur. So it's going to be the first round on the board for Luminosity, 1-5. They survive with both ops. 3 members live. So they can build up a little bit of money, but they have to string them together. If they're going to keep this double op setup, if they're going to keep rebuying this utility and want to move forward with that, they need to continue to sustain through the next couple rounds.
Yeah, Astralis went for that drop-down mid-split, and we kind of discussed before. It wasn't so much an A fake coming into it, it was just trying to get Dupree in position to take out the CT spawn player before his teammates made their move towards the mid-doors, but unfortunately he got dropped by FNX straight away. That kind of gives the game away as to what's going in. It's obvious that no one's going to be committing towards A at that point. CT can keep 2 players towards B, and FNX down their second frag as well. Did make it slightly competitive. They've got a couple of kills on towards the bomb site, but this is the round that really matters for Luminosity.
Yeah, if Luminosity lose this round, it might be difficult for them to get double op set up again in the future, because they'd have to at least double save if they wanted to get 2 ops out on the board. Yeah. So in a situation like that, moving forward into the future, it would have to take some kind of losing bonus for them to get it after just 1. So this is very, very important if they want to continue this strategy of 2 ops.
No fast play coming in from the Danes just yet. Going to be holding up in another default. Happy focusing towards short, and this is where Fallen's adjusted his setup now. He's going to be looking for that first frag. It's been Dupree has been leading the charge here. Will he be able to do anything with this? Decent flashbang with Fallen finds Kerrigan. Fully blind, of course, just pulls the trigger as soon as the flash goes off. And they're looking for the refrag, which is the right thing to do, but FNX there to back him up. Does find the second kill as well. Zipex towards long finds Fur, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough at this stage as Fallen has adjusted himself once more towards the long doors.
FNX has got to be careful, though. Good positioning by him in the bomb site. I think Astralis got caught off guard. I mean, normally when you see an opera in that position, you don't expect him to have support in the bomb site. FNX pushing up, gets that kill, and it's traded off by Device, so down into a 2-on-3, but Fallen still on the site. He's got the good angle, and Device just shows his shoulder a little bit too much. Fallen still in the open, though.
Yeah, Zipex, 3-1 situation with a Molotov and 50 HP. Has got time to play with, but unfortunately for him, we've got Taco in lower B, coldzera middle, Fallen waiting for him in CT spawn. There's not really many options. If he can somehow find his kill on towards Fallen, that opens up the A site, but that's quite a tall order in itself.
Well, he spotted Taco, so he knows he's here. So he's looking for that. He knows it's isolated into a one-on-one. The Taco's just going to win it out. So a second round now for Luminosity. The money is beat up on the Astralis side, and more than likely we'll either see a small investment of Force by Deagle in armor, Tech 9 in armor, perhaps a little bit of utility, but they can't afford the rifles this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going to be some pistols, and most teams on these sort of rounds will go for the mid-split if they can. Default at the start, get some players towards lower B. You see Carrigan has that one smoke. That'll presumably be towards CD spawn. Or they could do the contact B play. You smoke in front of the tunnels and try and burst through. We'll see which way they go with this one. Looks like they will be going for the former as they send 3 players towards lower B. I'll check if one of those is Carrigan. It is, but Cold Zero finds the first kill on towards Zibex. He probably had the flashbang towards the top and middle.
Yeah, he did.
So taken down, so that's one of their options taken away. Pretty poor smoke towards shorter. That's where they're planning on going. You can't actually see over that, but they will be bouncing around. There it is. That's why that smoke doesn't really work.
Yeah, they just really didn't have any other option, I don't think.
No.
FNX takes him down. You saw they had to adjust things. That was going to be a burst out mid to try and take over one of the AWPs, but because their player at top mid gets taken out, they have to adjust and go up catwalk instead, and that funnels them right into another AWP. So Luminosity doing a really good job in these past couple of rounds of making sure their 2 ops, these 2 expensive, important weapons, are the ones making contact on the defense.
Yeah, the money kind of starting to swell now as well. If they win this round, they're into about the 8k region, but we'll see how round number 9 goes down. Device back on the AWP. He's currently top fragging for Astralis as well, 7 and 5. We'll see what their approach is this time. Been lots of defaults here, just trying to feel out the map and seeing what's going on. Luminosity, in terms of the aggression they're presenting, they've only really moved and fallen around a couple of times. They're not pushing into upper tunnels or trying to be aggressive towards short like we saw in the pistol round. And we'll see what goes on this time. It's going to be Cold Zero with that up towards mid doors. What's his plan here? Push through towards the Xbox. Had a gap there to work with as well.
We did, after Austin, I believe, I can't remember who told us this, that they asked Luminosity if there was any secret they had for this event that they hadn't shown yet. Oh, and he almost spots that. A little bit of boost over. And I believe it was actually Taco that mentioned that he had like 3 one-way smokes that he has in his pocket that he hasn't used yet. And I assume, I mean, maybe if we see something that creative, that is one of the ones that they wanted to bust out here facing Elimination. So not bad from them. You can definitely see how that could be perfectly utilized at some point.
Yeah, we saw it from the T POV and couldn't actually see through that smoke at all. And Cold Zero had full vision. But here we go then. Cold Zero now back towards long. There are terrorists inside those doors. So can he find something with this? The idea is to find one frag, fall back, but he is by himself. This is why kind of a high-risk maneuver. There's no one to play off. Once he misses that shot, he's very isolated at this point. Flash is coming in as well. The terrorists want to capitalize at this stage. Fully flash, and there's the kill. He does manage to leg one, but it's not going to be enough. Terrorists have control of long. They're smoked off the corner as well, just removing the CT vision for any backing up players, but they're going to have to retreat now. This is the options now for the CT to have a push through middle or upper B, try and regain some map control. Now they've fully lost long and a player. They need to adjust. There needs to be a reaction.
And it looks like the reaction is going to be out towards mid. Device has got to be careful. Fallen takes him down. They have 3 players here lined up to take mid. There's a pop flash over. They're not going to move with it, perhaps because they got that pick.
Yeah.
They decided not to continue with that tactic. Either way, they're going to push through a little bit delayed, try and grab some information, but Kerrigan and T-Spawn has spotted it out. And that has actually split that aggression. Fur's the only one in the upper B tunnels. He's going to get a free kill here. Very low HP. It's not entirely free. Down to 20 HP. But that splits one member. Cajun is now on the site, and he's got a couple targets to shoot at. Manages that well on a Taco, but only 7 seconds left. The bomb has got to sprint in. I don't even think there's time. This round's already over.
Yeah, I actually can't win the round. You need 4 seconds on the clock to even plant the bomb. And to be Luminosity locking it down. So after even losing that first frag, Astralis had the advantage, and then Luminosity reacting well. Like we said, it's one of the classic CS maps. If you lose the first kill on real estate on the map, you need to be reacting. You have to pushing B tunnels, pushing short. And this time they focus towards middle, found the kill on towards Device, and has waited for Astralis to make the next move at that stage. Funneled them towards the B site. And once they found that first kill, Astralis has had no time to work with there. And they're going to be force buying into this round now. They've got 3 AKs and Tech 9's reinvestment.
Yeah, and this is one of the things Threats always talked about, where if opponents save their weapons, they're going to buy behind it. If they have 3 guns, they're going to have 2 Tech 9s behind it. So it's a little bit easier to manage if you're the team facing against that. So
I think it's a really interesting idea. Like the fact you allow them to stay alive, just so they go. And they never really recover their economies. They're constantly force buying, trying to balance everything out with the save guns.
It is a pretty interesting take on that, and you can see, I mean, NFP has a lot of success with their anti-ecos, so he's kind of revolutionizing in that regard. Either way. This time where the kill is going to come for Astralis. They went up 5-0 and they've been stopped for 4 in a row. This double op setup, once again, effective for Luminosity. This time looks towards mid. That's going to be a smoke towards CT spawn. And that smoke from Luminosity is a little bit off, so Device is able to creep out and find a big gap in it.
Yeah, looking like they're trying to get some intel here to see what kind of presence the CTs have towards middle. Leaving Device there for now. He's got the Tech 9, so presumably they may go for an A attack here and leave him in the rotations, just sending out the B footage, but Dupree's still waiting in B, so I'm interested to see what their approach is with it. I'm swinging towards CT spawn. And now maybe the full B split could come in.
Yeah, smoke at the base of B tunnels as well for Dupree to try and get close up to this Opera, just waiting for his teammates to blow up through that smoke. And here comes Taco. Flash from his teammate. That gets him 1 kill, but now Cold's got to hold on for so much longer, and he's pinned down. He does get 1. Can he get another? He's got to try for it. Almost lands that flick, and Kerrigan's in here just waiting to cut off rotations. Fallen has no idea this is coming, and there it is from Kerrigan. 1 more to deal with. That first kill took a little bit too long. He can't adjust properly.
He can't do it at all, but it's going to be a 2-on-2 now. CTs don't have much to work on in terms of utility. 1 HG grenade, but it's the same story for the terrorists. Zipex and Device, AK and AWP respectively, and then retake's about to come in. It's going to be CTs trying to stick together towards our door area, and this could work out very effectively. See this crossfire on the site. They do spot the CTs coming through the doors here. Zipex finds the first frag and Device finishing things off, so decent crossfire there. It was a difficult buy for Astralis, but they make it work. 6-4 now, and the Tech-9s prevail. That's all down to Kerrigan on that short area. There's getting so much aggro towards middle. He's just kind of hanging out towards short. Finds, I don't know how he got towards CT spawn like that, but I assume he dropped down through the smoke when they weren't looking.
That or just ran through the smoke in a time that was just a little bit fortunate. Found some random timing.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a smoke that they threw, like the drop smoke, and he had a little bit of cover towards long. Either way, I mean, now Luminosity is at the point. Their economy's broken. If they lose this, it's all over. But same with Astralis, and FNX is going to start Luminosity off on the right foot.
Okay.
In fact, he's going to start off on both right feet. 2 kills for him, down to a 3-on-5.
That was, like I said, it's one of those maps you get a decent long spawn. It can be very viable just to go for that straight up long face with a couple of flashbangs. But this time it's going to be FNX stepping up massively with the famous of all weapons. And that's a big round for Luminosity. Like I said, the money's poor. They have no kits, very little grenades, and now 5-on-3. Everyone's trying to do what they can towards middle. It's Device that finds a kill on towards Cold Zero. That's another big kill to take because that's the vision taken away from middle now. Fur has to rotate from CT spawn. And we'll see what Astralis brings to the table. A little decoy smoke towards CT there, just take away some vision, see what the CTs do with this one. So Device is holding towards mid. The problem is, they need to be very careful from long.
What he has done, though, is at least freeze Fur and CT spawn. So Taco's very isolated, very much on his own. He's going to spray through. Does a little bit of damage, but that reload's going to allow Astralis to get very, very close up, and he's aware of this. There's the one flashbang jumping through his Hypnix. Kerrigan does trade that off, so good find, but it's a 1-on-1 over here. Device has to get here quickly. He's in B tunnels first, just going to rush in and stop the plant, or is he? He is. He does finally find it, so it's a 1-on-3. There's plenty of time to wait for Device to get there.
I guess the idea is they were up against the ropes. They wanted to get a tunnel plant down just so they could have that crossfire once again. Yep. Once that plant's down, if it does get successfully put down there, Device has got the open tunnels, and then he really has a chance of clutching that situation regardless of what goes on. So I guess it's like the Hail Mary play. See what he can do with it. He could have done the safe plan, like you said, waited. But he just he had his eyes on the prize, Moses. He wanted to see what he could do with that situation.
Tunnel vision. Sometimes you get it.
Oh, there we go. Astralis now, after winning 1 round, they get fully reset. That's only $1,400 coming into your accounts this round, so they can't really justify much more than Desert Eagles, P250s and Glocks, of course, as the aggression coming in. It's Fur trying to capitalize on this low money. He gets taken down by the Desert Eagle. A couple of frags, though, coming in for the CTs. That should be the run, stabilize at this stage, and Cold Zero still facing, of course.
It's very, very cool to watch Luminosity on the CT side, the layers of cover they have for their teammates. First pushing up Catwalk, they have another player right behind him to watch lower B, and then when his vision transfers to the top of Cat, you have Cold and mid as well. So really, really good defense is ensured that only Fur falls, because there was a lot of danger for a couple more people from Luminosity to drop. So it is going to be all tied up. Luminosity finally gets there. Fallen's going to end it 6-6 now.
We've seen a lot of crazy comeback today. I wouldn't call this one up in the same leagues as the NIP one earlier, but still very impressive from Luminosity. That's God tier.
That was God tier.
We come out from 14-2. That's
after losing pistol.
After losing pistol, yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But it's another eco for Astralis. Only get $1,900 this round, of course, so can't really do much there. They probably want to get the price back on the AWP. So they'll just be going for some Desert Eagles, Tech-9, P250, and just looking like they may be just bundling out towards middle. They have all 5 committed to this side of the map. No, actually opting towards short. I'm not really sure they're going to be hoping to get out of this one. Incendiary comes in, Fallen finds the first frags. It's going to be the shooting gallery at this point. They don't have anything to hold him off, and he just gets the second, not the third. The next chiming in, but this round's over. I think it's a bit of a throwaway round. The only objective they've already got is try and get the bomb down. Dupree finds 2 kills, which works for him, but that just pays off his Deagle debt at this stage.
Yeah, and I mean, no utility. If you're going to invest in those pistols like that, maybe just 1 or 2 flashbangs to get you a little bit wider to swing on Fallen. Either way, back AK-47s are out.
Here we go then. Problem is, double orbs for CTs are also out.
It's been a 7-1 run since they brought out the double AWP. You can see how effective that is, especially in the hands of Cold and Fallen.
especially if players like Fallen changing their position every single round. You can see Fallen's towards B now. So it is very dynamic here, taking advantage of the spawns and trying to mix things up, and he's going very aggressive towards that tunnel area.
You control the map by not even doing anything. If Astralis sees this op in so many different positions in the future, they have to be so careful and use a lot of utility just to ensure they don't get killed by it.
Yeah, just to eradicate
just
that
the paranoia.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing, right? If he's changing his position up and you've done it one round, you can never be too sure whether he'll be there again. That's what all the top AWPers will do, and try and get in the heads of the terrorist, make them expend so much of their utility. But it looks like once again, focusing towards the catwalk area, but coldzera, he's waiting there with the AWP this time. Will he be able to land the shot? Waiting for the flashbang to come in, then he faces, but dupree's ready. Takes his head off.
That was a pre-fire at the corner. That wasn't even like expecting that kind of a peak. So a little bit
both of them are expecting the plays there. So we've got coldzera just waiting with the flashbang before he faces, then dupree is coming in with a straight-up headshot.
And just like you mentioned earlier, you lose map control in one area, you take it back in the other, and that's Fallen pushing into upper B, dropping Cage in B. So he equalizes, and he finds all the information that there's nobody in the upper B portions of this map. So now it's all down to this A hit. FNX is out in the open. That's a very committed fight. The Molotov forces him back.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with that situation. But now we just have Fur towards long by himself. He's going to wait for some rotations here from his teammates. Can't really justify facing it, considering the positions of Astralis. But it's going to be Carrigan. Should be landing this shot by now. How does he not win that duel?
That's awkward. That's unfortunate. Carrigan's going to be a little bit stressed out because of that. The tap's not connecting. Now you can see down into a 3-on-3. A little bit more doable, but Zipnik's still lurking out long. Such a difficult battle for Fur to win, and there go his teammates as well. Dupree chiming in. It's down to just Taco, and what can he really hope to do?
There it is. Astralis do bounce back there. It got a little bit hairy at one stage, but that Molotov into the bomb site, you have to question why.
It's crucial.
Yeah, that was so potent. The fact that they forced the CT actually to face fully in the open, give themselves a nice guaranteed kill there. It was quite back and forth there, like you said, Fallen coming in the reaction. It's just that kill towards long. If they had lost that round because Carrigan didn't land that shot, that would be
heartbreaking, wouldn't it?
Those are the difficult ones to swallow. But going to the last round here, Astralis in a great position to actually win this half. It's still a double AWP setup available for Luminosity, but you can see it's a 5-7 on Taco and FNX on towards that Famus. No kits. And it's glass cannon for coldzera as well. So dupree coming in very quickly here. He's actually made it all the way to the B site undetected. This should be a guaranteed round at this stage. No way. How's coldzera found that shot?
Oh, how does he find that one? What is this? Cole just stops them dead in their tracks. It should have been Astralis. It should have been a B bomb site wide open and a huge advantage for the Danes, but Cole puts an end to it.
If you're getting terrorists to the window and door, like completely undetected, that should be the round over. There should be no way the CTs can even adjust to that. But somehow he flicks around, finds two. I'm not sure they're both no-scopes. The second one suddenly was borderline, but it's going to be now Device left in a almost impossible situation. If the CT's face at the same time, or rips his head off, that does it as well. They are going to win the half, but I'd love to see a replay of how that went down from coldzera's point of view. How he found 2 kills there, that's insane.
Yeah, that was absolutely disgusting from coldzera.
As you can see, Astralis, that's actually the perfect call for them. If you're getting all the way up to that kind of the site, that you're getting to the window before you're even detected, like I said, that should be a trade instantly. There should be no way he's running 2, but somehow coldzera comes out on top, and a difficult buy, he makes it work for them. Fallen finishes things off, and that double AWP setup once again prevails.
It was crazy. He had no armor as well. That was a glass cannon up, so he takes those. You could see dupree almost was thinking it was an easy kill. He got so excited.
The whole thing was they didn't want to throw too much utility in terms of like flashing over. They didn't want to give the game away. It's too easy. They wanted to be just like facing straight away and ripping their heads off. But didn't really work out in that fashion. It was actually coldzera. There's no scoping, spinning around, of course, and taking them down. But it's going to be 8-7.
8-2 with the double up setup after the first half is closed. Now we don't see it as much on the T side out of Luminosity. It's mostly a defensive setup.
Heard something about 20 seconds, but I feel like it's a pause coming in. Is that what's going on?
Halftime. Time remaining in halftime. 20 seconds. Perhaps.
Okay. We normally go to breaks sometimes. Sometimes. Yeah, we feel like it. Here's some replays for you.
Well, welcome back.
Update for you.
We have a good update. Astralis, it looks like, is going to win the pistol round.
Yep, you didn't really need to see it in a way. It was boring, so we didn't even want to show it to you. So Astralis will be picking it up. It's going to be Carrigan defeating the bomb. I didn't really see what happened, Moses. Did you catch any of that?
No, I did not realize it was going on. I had a mini-map up.
Well, is it? I'm just making sure that was official, wasn't it? Yeah, that was it. Okay. Now we have another pause, okay? Do we?
Nope, we're good. We're good. We're in the match.
Confusing times, of course.
Welcome
back into it. But it's Astralis leveling things up at 8-8. Just as far as we knew, or know, they won the pistol, so don't worry about it.
They did win. That's both pistols for Astralis, actually.
That is. Let's see if they can capitalize here. No force buy, interesting enough, from Luminosity. They have gone for a little bit, obviously going for the AKs in the third. We'll see what they can do here.
They could be haunted a little bit. Like we mentioned some of the economic wars you can have by force buying in some of the second rounds. They had it earlier on train. That's kind of what helped them lose that match.
Yep, it's true.
Put them in an awkward buying situation for the rest of the half. So maybe this time not even want to mess with it. Kerrigan with the UMP going to get an easy kill. And this is very spread out from Luminosity. It seems like everyone's all over the map just trying to take a duel. They win one. That's Fallen, who takes out Dupree. He gets immediately traded back upon them.
4 on 3 now, and it's going to be Luminosity with not really much to work with. The bomb's all the way towards the top middle, and we have got Coldzera making his way towards mid doors as well. He takes a ton of damage there, goes down to 12, and it's Fur joining him up with the bomb as well. There's literally nothing they can really hope for here. Maybe one more kill, but they both have Glocks, and I don't really hold much faith for them here as they go for the doors. First kill from Zipex, surely get the second, there it is, and 9-8. Astralis take the lead once more, and this is where we should see Luminosity buying into this one. Should have plenty to work with in terms of AKs. Managed to get an AWP as well. Cheeky.
All right. So we can see where that was going.
So it's going to be Fallen on the AWP. He has got head armor as well. So this becomes very interesting all of a sudden.
I mean, this is pretty crazy because they might not expect an AWP out this early.
And they've got decent long spawns as well. So there's a smoke towards the corner as well. They have got someone flashing over. Let's go for that first up pick and see if they can actually push the CTs back here.
Well, here's that fast spawn towards long. Bombing flashbangs. Fallen's blind as he recovers, though. He almost gets that shot, but Kerrigan takes advantage of the miss. Gets a kill, and LG still has to fight their way out, but Kerrigan is really caught in an awkward spot. There are smokes, and he's going to grab an angle. He wants to get aggressive. They're losing so much HP, Luminosity, through this smoke. Xipnix is doing massive damage to him. There's another smoke to go down, and still Cold is isolated at the blue bin, and Kerrigan knows this. What more can he do? Cold is trying to get out. He wins that battle. Kenny with a second one, down to 33, and his teammates are not going to be able to join him because the smoke is fading away. Kerrigan's getting assistance as well, coming down long very, very quickly. Device is going to be here in the fight, and he sprays down Fallen, and there's Kerrigan onto Cold. Finally, he's gone.
Great use of the smokes there from Astralis, actually segregating all the terrorists. No backup can actually come in once that smoke's down in the double doors. They're flashing and smoking effectively, working together, and they actually come out on top of that gunfight as well. It's going to be a 4-on-2. Fur has got the AWP. He's in T-spawn, but surely Astralis can't throw this round away. It'd be an absolute travesty if they did, I have to say. But FNX and Fur remain with bomb in hand. Fur 21 HP, surely can't do anything with this.
Yeah, they're very split at the moment as well.
Yes.
FNX is up on Catwalk, Fur obviously in T-spawn with the bomb and an AWP, so it's got to essentially be FNX that does something here. Because at the moment, it almost looks like Fur is just saying, if you don't get a kill, I'm just going to save this gun, so I'm saying far back, and he doesn't.
It's a very defensive angle there from Device as well, not even spotting towards shore. He wants the terrorist to be fully committed before he even gets a spot, and a chance to take his head off there, and it's gives him the kill. Now it's going to be Fur with that low HP and the bomb, 15 seconds to work with. I think just saving the AWP here. Saving the AWP is obviously very vital. If you have a player like Fallen taking the AWP to the next round, he can make some magical things happen with that.
Well, here's the big question mark we're going to have is that are they going to force buy behind this? Because outside of the AWP, they will have absolutely nothing. The leg shot is brutal. After the round as well, he's going to get no money. He has exactly $0.
That's absolutely correct. So after losing 3 in a row, they get $2,400 loss bonus. But if you die after the round timer expires, you get 0. So that's happening to Fur right now. And
nightmare situation.
Yeah, great chance for Astralis to capitalize here. They get the AWP themselves, picked it up. They get it for free. It's going to be Device on that weapon. So let's see where they decide to go. Going very aggressive towards middle. Obviously, he knows they've got nothing to work with here. They get that first pick. Doesn't land the shot, but just spot a couple of players there. And now will be falling back, readjusting himself towards the A round.
Even Dupree losing a long-range battle. He's brought down to about 45, so he's got to get passive. Good control for Luminosity, but the only thing is the lack of rifles, lack of nades. They can't really do anything. They have the control. There's just nothing they can use to leverage themselves into a hit on the bomb site.
Trying to do the cannon fodder approach here, trying to cover the planter and see if you can just run on and get a short plant down here. Hopefully find the first kill. Comes down to this kill here. Zipex can't find anything. Surely they should be finding kills here, but not letting the shots. Device finally gets one. He takes down Coldzera. The bomb still with a great opportunity to be planted here.
Oh, that was dangerous. Device able to get that kill, able to get the AWP as well. But yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Luminosity blows up through that smoke, and they actually kept Zipnix at an awkward timing when he's rotating down the ramp, so he's out in the open with no cover.
Yeah.
And then they were even almost able to get even more off of it. The plant itself was kind of a miracle, considering they had no flashes, no smokes. And 2 kills on top of that is well done with what you had to work with.
Absolutely. Just had pistols and no utility whatsoever. So just did that bum rush into the A site and through the smoke. Like I said, took Zipex down and made things a little bit uncomfortable for Device as well. But they get the bomb down in a couple of kills. That's all they really wanted going into this round. And they do have decent cash here. You can see it's going to be Taco on the AWP. Surely we're swapping that over. Yeah, there it goes over towards Fallen. It's just going to be Fur who's footing the burn a little bit as he goes down to the Tech 9.
You think maybe they said Taco take that long spawn and go for the op pick, and he was like, hell no.
Yeah, it's just like I learned my lesson there, guys.
He's like, I don't do that.
Well, he's going to be doing the smoke towards the Xbox right now, so potential default here. Even if you don't commit to this, it's a pretty default way to actually pit down and just take the vision away from the CTs, even if you don't go up towards Catwalk. But now we have got Device. He's pushing off this area, so that actually helps him out a little bit. It takes away the aggro from lower B and allows him to go for a straight-up pick here.
Look at Device, though, remaining aggressive. He knows it's going to come. That flashbang, that's such a nice flash. And actually now jumping.
Wow.
Oh, what a conversion from Device.
Yeah.
That could have been a very awkward fight.
Does he stay here now? Because he's by himself, and that's just the kill given away. I think when you have that sort of kill and you're by yourself, surely take the man advantage, but...
he still has it. He got one more there right at the end.
Oh, did he actually get one?
He got one.
Okay,
right
fair enough. Yeah,
it wasn't the close one. He shot at the close player. That he killed Cole.
Oh, I see. So he literally got one for free, essentially.
Yep.
Just not even aiming. Okay,
a little
perfect.
bit fortunate. So yeah,
that
very lucky.
works.
You're exactly right. I mean, if this was a 4-4, that would be a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah. All right. Well, that works. They all count, regardless.
So there's no sloppy. We don't take back slop kills.
No. Okay. Well, 4-3 then. Luminosity still have smokes to play with. Have got short control, and all 3 players committed.
This is a really interesting read though by Astralis. Look at this defense. 3 members over towards the B bomb site. No one at A. Kerrigan is out towards long.
This is kind of nuts.
I'm wondering why they're doing this, giving up the site for free.
It's not like they've got tons of utility to go for a massive retake here. They've got flashbang, sure, but it's still going to be difficult considering Fur has a smoke, and I guess it is banking on having the man advantage and making sure they come in effectively and trade frags 1 for 1, and they technically should be able to win the round in that fashion. Let's see how they decide to go with this.
Well, Taco's got the AWP that he gave away, and FNX is just a little bit bummed that he just ate that much damage. Molotov is going to force him forward again. Zipnix should be prepared for this. Cajun's not. There's Zipnix. He does eventually get that kill. Fur's going to take up the position, though. 3-on-2 for Astralis on this retake. 1 member in the side, that's Taco, and he's got to do something with his AWP. He flicks down, can't get the shot off in time. Fur does win his. 1-on-2, no nades to keep him off the bomb. That's a smoke. If he wants to get the defuse, he's going to have to commit himself to this. He's going to throw the Tech 9 as a fake flash, and Dupree is having none of it. So Astralis, that works out for him.
Yep. Obviously, we talk about it's a little bit of old news now. Obviously, the 5-second on the bomb now, an extra 5 seconds to the CTs does make these retake strategies a lot more viable, especially when you have the man advantage as well. I want to see the second kill. How did I miss this?
He double scoped, so it was a little awkward.
Okay, yeah, so he got the player behind him. Like, he was going for the shot close range to him, but still, like I said, they all count. It's going to be 12-8 from Astralis. No all this time for Luminosity. It's going to be Lost Bonus getting to maximum stage 5 here. And they're going to get the long take once again. Going to be locking down the CT player. That's Kerrigan trying to do what he can, but comes out from the blind and actually takes one down. It's an equal exchange, though, as Fallen fights back, and they have got control along now.
Kerrigan's playing with a heavy set of balls in this game.
Yeah.
Completely blind, crossing over long like that through smoke. And it works out for him. Gets that kill, gets a lot of intel as well.
The thing is as well, once he's told his teammates that there's 3 or 4 players towards long, that gives his comrades on the other side of the map, his CTs, to push towards middle and try and find isolated players that maybe by themselves towards mid doors. Is exactly what they do and get the man advantage here. So now the terrorists do have to work a lot harder. Once again, it's going to be Astralis with 1 man advantage as we enter the 1 minute mark here. Zipex, though, presumably getting behind the barrels at this point. This can be a very good position to find in that 1 kill, just to lock them down, but actually going a little bit more aggressive this time.
Astralis has a decent amount of utility as well. 3 Molotovs used, no smokes, but Zipnix has 1 of them, and he's going to get aggressive. He's got to be very careful on the timing of the smoke. He's got to have it down because the rest of LG is going to follow this up, and he's in a very committed position. There is Device in the bomb site with an AWP, but Fallen finds him for free. Molotov going to go into the site. That forces Device away, so now he's got to have a tough job to do it. Fallen finds him as well. The captain of Luminosity coming up huge in this round. 3 kills for him in an 8-12 scenario, and it's another retake for Astralis.
Yeah, Zipex, I feel like that's a very ballsy move from him, but regardless, every KGB coming in the back, he does get that kill on towards Taco. Now in a great position, but an even better shot from Fallen. It's going to be Dupree in the 2-on-1 situation, trying to do what he can from long. He is detected as well. Flashbang comes in. This is pretty much his last attempt. Flashes both of them, so an opportunity to get that shot towards shore, but now the terror is going to be adjusting himself. Going to be 1 player towards quad. City Spawn and City Fallen capitalizing there. So it all comes down to Zipex. I have to say, he puts himself in a position where he can potentially find one kill, but if he finds nothing out of that, he's giving the round right back to Luminosity.
He's also essentially neutralizing the Molotov he has in his pocket as well, because if he spots out of that attack, he can jump a Molotov and buy time. Regardless, though, some absolutely ridiculous shots from Fawn in that round. He got all 5 kills. He grabbed the ace, and it's a critical round because now look at where he has Astralis sitting. The money is gone. No one is above $1,000. So losing this, and Astralis is back onto a save, and that allows Luminosity to tie the score up.
Let's be clear. I don't mind Zipex going aggressive there. You just need to have an exit strategy. Have someone with you who can flash you out, or there's someone who can get the refrag if you do go down. There's something to work with. There's something to actually a plan to go forward in that situation.
Yeah, it also actually hurts Device, who's pinned down in the bomb site. If there had been even one player long for Luminosity, that could have been such an easier take than Fallen hitting that ridiculous shot. And there's the jump, but Device doesn't fall for it. Nice bait, but he can't get away in time. Taco is able to trade that off. So nicely done from Luminosity.
Well then, 4-on-4. We have got that boost position towards City Spawn there. That's going to be Dupree. You can see with the way he's crouched right now. He's just looking for the little gap. We can go on Dupree quickly. I'll show you what I mean.
Well, hold the phone.
Can't hear that. It's fine.
Because there's going to be a stream of grenades over long A. Zipnix is just waiting very close up.
Looks like they're trying to bait out some of the utilities in CT's
I feel like Taco has such advanced positioning on Catwalk. He has control, so they want to fake out towards long. They're hoping they can get one player, the Kerrigan, I believe that is at the cars, to kind of cheat over towards long. And then they can hit Catwalk, but it's not working at the moment. He's going to be there zoned in.
Molotovs do come towards the site. Flashbangs as well. Kerrigan still has vision towards Shoreboat. Easy shot from him to take down Fur. Now can reposition himself. Another flashbang comes in. He takes a tighter angle. Wants to watch the players crossing towards the bomb site, but they're not going to be doing that just yet. Zipex finds a kill towards Taco. Should be Kerrigan cleaning up here. Another easy shot for him. He takes down Cold Zera. And now at this point, FNX in a desperate situation. Let's find that kill though. Zipex locks down the round. 13-9 now. And it's Luminosity looking a bit lost. I think that's their money actually in disarray.
Yeah.
So they get the tactical pause coming in now. They're on about 2k average. And it's looking like Astralis making a convincing case here to take Dust 2.
Yeah, they've at least planted 3 times in this half, which allowed them to have so many more buys, but they lose immediately after winning, which is a huge bummer. So tactical timeout.
Yeah, they've actually only won a single round here in the second half. It's currently 6-1 in the CT's favour, and they actually only kept 2 players alive in that last round, so they got fully reset. They only get 1,400 going to this round, so they are in a horrible situation at 13-9. Like, even if they took the eco now, with $1,900, it still would be a pretty shoddy buy going to the next. I think they could just about squeeze out an AWP, but depending on the kill when they get the bomb down.
And now, I mean, here comes the thing, because Luminosity, one of their big strengths, one of the things that all their tactics are based around is getting that opening kill and kind of working the map from there. Yep. They haven't been able to do that. Astralis has been dominating them in the early portions of these rounds. Like, the first 30 seconds is usually, it's either a 1-for-1 trade, but rarely is Luminosity getting away with any kind of an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they can't really do much here. You can see Kerrigan now, in terms of the buy going forward, he's adjusted to the MP7. Trying to farm a little bit of extra cash up against the unarmed players can be a very versatile weapon indeed. Lots of run and gun potential there, and just chews up unarmored opponents. So Luminosity will be coming in with 2 smokes here. They will be taking the partial buy. 2 Tech 9s, 2 smokes, and see what they decide to do there. I'm trying to think what's the most viable thing. They could do those 2 smokes towards the long corner and try and retake it, go for the kills there. It's been a heavy area of contention for them. Or simply go for a B split once again and have 2 players coming out the tunnels.
We mentioned this earlier when Anders and I were watching Dust 2 as well. There haven't been a lot of mid B splits in this map today. It seems like most teams are favoring against that, which is, I mean, a lot of it has just been these standard hits onto the 8 bomb site.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's just trying to work that right now. It seems like it's kind of in trend just to get the smoke down towards City Spawn and try and lock down the AWP, but that's always towards Car and is trying to stifle him with the flashbangs. We are getting back into this one though. It's going to be round number 23. If you're just joining us, this is our final game of the day. It's the best of 3.
This is the first map.
And the first map, and the loser of this best of 3 is actually out of the tournament, which is kind of nuts considering the matchup we have here.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting. And what a time for your star player to come alive and have a big game. Device currently sitting at 23 and 14. Kerrigan and Zipnix are next at 17 kills. On the other side, it's Fallen with 18, Taco at 15, and FNX at 16. Opening kill from Kerrigan, aggressive up mid on this anti-eco, going hunting. Doesn't want to let any kind of tactics come into play. Dupree looked like he had a little bit of a mouse jump there, so...
That's fine though from Kerrigan, even if he gives that weapon away. It's not like the MP7, like I said, it's very good against unarmored opponents. As soon as you give that into the hands of a terrorist going up against CTs at long range, doesn't really work. But here we go then, LG forcing their way into the B site. Don't really have many options here. It's going to be Cajun being Dupree, mowing them down. Simple and very easy for them to handle as they take 14-9 here. And the money's, like I said, still not great. 3 Galils. an AK, and Taco, what's he got remaining? He can buy an AK and armor. That's about it as well. I think it's just working out whether he wants the nades. And actually does.
And Kerrigan's just going to keep the MP7, so a little bit of a bonus round for him.
As you would call it, the Jaden round, Moses, I think. Is that you that says that?
We're gonna have to have words after.
Oh no,
this.
it's that other guy, isn't it?
That's that one other guy.
That's that other guy.
we won't speak his name.
Well, then here we go. It's gonna be LG, looking like more of a Devo here. Smoke towards Xbox once again. With the only AK-47 towards the top middle. We're flashing teammates through towards lower B. He wants to give them some vision there. That pushes back any AWP that's pushed through, but it doesn't stop Device. He gets towards short, takes down Fur, and they've got the man advantage. They've probably gathered what kind of weaponry the terrorists have got here as well, so they can play a very defensive stance here.
And LG is just going to head right up catwalk. It's going to be what a shot, Device. Or Dupree, I mean, excuse me. That is absolutely dirty for him to work with. Good spams back in return, but he's done the damage.
It's the anyway boost. We don't really see too often now in CSGO. It's quite predictable, but every now and then chuck it in there. And these kind of key situations can be very important. Here comes a drop down. No smoke towards City Spawn. That's kind of crazy from Taka to jump down in that situation. If you have no smoke when you drop down, you've got about 7 different angles potentially CDs be waiting for you. That's pretty much game at this stage. Luminosity did what they could. It's Astralis adjusting and finding that first pick and then funneling.
I'm wondering if maybe, because it's so insane that I almost want to make, find an excuse as to why he did that. Maybe one of his teammates who had fallen before that was supposed to throw that smoke and he didn't realize that he wasn't going to have it on the execute.
It doesn't make sense regardless. Like, if you don't have smoke there, it's almost like a suicide.
I'm just saying maybe he thought that it was going to be thrown. Let's help him out a little bit, Henry.
Yeah,
Come on now.
We'll go with that then. He thought the smoke was there. 15-9, and it's going to be Tech 9, CZs, Scout, and an AK. Surely we're not going to see some miracle from the Brazilians here. This would be absolutely gutting for Astralis to throw away. This is the perfect opportunity to finish this one off. You can see that this is the problem though with Astralis. We always talk about this. When they get in touching distance, they can taste the victory. That's when they start to turtle up. They stop losing that killer instinct, but it's Dupree finds the first kill, so potentially have got over that just now. Yeah,
this does not look like an Astralis that's going to lose its killer instinct at the moment as these last couple of rounds have gone, especially against CZ, a Tech 9, and a Scout are 3 of the 4 weapons still remaining on the board for Luminosity, and Fallen, he's just perched. And if he swings out any wider, it's going to be Scout on off, but Device, the timing doesn't work out.
Here we go then. Device smokes off towards long and backs up, but Fallen, even he hits him, it has to be a headshot here. And Device now, here's the shot. It's going to be a little aggression here coming in. Hits the shot through the box here, takes down Fallen, but it's Fur to find the kill on towards Zipex now. It's going to be very aggressive, and the bomb will be planted towards short as well.
Yeah, which is scary. It actually got delayed a little bit, so it's not even down yet. So now FNX has got to be aggressive to try and bail him out. So he's given up that plant positioning. Not that it was going to do too much to begin with. It was a CZ. Yeah. So Fur's got to do something miraculous, and he's not able to. And now it's all down to FNX. And once again, just too much to go against. It's going to be a 16th round for Astralis. They will take Dust 2 and the first map, 16-9. After a very, very strong performance.
I said coming into this one, it's been Luminosity's T-side and Dust 2. It's been the one that's actually not been convincing for me when I've watched them on live. Sloppy execution, seem to have a lack of an objective. Like we said on Dust 2, that's fine, but you need to be making good mid-round decisions. I didn't really see that happening. Never got control of their economy, really. Their CT was actually fine. It was actually pretty great. Like, they won the half after having a difficult start to the game, and they went 5-0 down and won 8-7. So their CT is absolutely fine. That's not a problem for me. It's a T side. I think that's where they need to do most of their work going forward. It seems like that's a real problem.
Yeah, and you know who was cold for them? Was some of the heavy hitters on the LG side. Was Cold and Fur were just hitting at the bottom of the scoreboard with them 12 kills, I believe. But that is going to be it. We are going to take a break. So we will see you guys for map 2 when we get back.
Dust 2 done and dusted. And we've got Overpass just around the corner. But Astralis picking up the first map. Just for touching on, if you may have just joined us and missed what we said coming into this one, of course, when I say we, I'm talking about Sadakist and Yanko, who are joining me. We sat out the scene saying this veto could not have gone better for Astralis. One of the points you're making, just how strong their Dust 2 can be. Looks like it worked out in their favor. Luminosity not able to make the Dust 2 happen this time.
Definitely, and I said that a big question mark for me was going to be Astralis' CT side, because they were known for having that passive setup with the upper towards the car position and always leaving, most of the time leaving a bomb site and then playing retakes. We saw the complete opposite this time around. Device was the one with the up towards the A bomb site. He was being aggressive towards Catwalk a couple of times, then they moved him over towards A long. He got the entry kill there. Okay, he was traded, but the point behind it is that Astralis was constantly moving him around. He was constantly switching positions, and Luminosity had to keep guessing all the time where he's going to be.
And was that aggressive defense so integral to their success, Matt?
I think absolutely, and it's a really good point to see Device being the primary opera on this map, because
this angle was dumb, by the way. This is crazy.
This particular shot we're about to see is also crazy. Double flash. I guess it was single. I thought it was two, but either way, that's a crazy shot to hit. Second one as well over the shoulder. Just to go back to the point, though, I mean, this is the map that they've taken the longest time to adapt to Device being the primary opera. They were sticking with Cajun B. Originally, they put Device in that position. Kerrigan had famously held long. They put him in B, Dupree over to A. They couldn't hold the basic positions without Device alone, so then they had to go back to their old setup. Part of him being aggressive, paying off in this situation, though, does stem from the fact that Luminosity still looks quite lackluster in their execution, and their default isn't sound. It seems like he's almost catching them off in situations like that where they're not clearing out angles. And this goes back to, I know, and you said at the top of the show, they've been very successful in their Dust 2 trying to evaluate this map, but it's been against North American teams. This level of skill and this level of aggression they haven't seen yet, and I think that Device just really took the fight to them and they weren't ready for it at all.
I mean, that's kind of where I want to take this next. Luminosity conceding that map, and they did look rather deflated in their play, Yanko. Is it fair to say that a team that relies quite heavily on strats, when things are a little wonky, when someone isn't quite having their game, they take the hit the most?
I mean, it's hard to say that they mostly rely on strats. I mean, right now they start off with a looser playstyle, then they switch to strats if they have to. Something similar to maybe how Fnatic played way back in the Pronex era. We need to take into account that Luminosity did lose both pistols in this game. They were 5-0 down in the first half, managed to bring it back to 8-7 for them with the double AWP setup. Something that would maybe, take as a negative from their play is that they didn't really try to go B at all on their T side, and on this map in particular, if things aren't going your way, you can always go for something simple. Maybe have one guy throw nades over A long to try and draw their attention there, and maybe walk out mid with 4 people, right? Use that as a bait, try to bait out a rotation from the CTs, get an entry kill in the beginning of the round, or just go for a fast B split, which is what Astralis did in their T side half. Of course, that crazy round by Cold Zero when he got those 2 flick shots dismantled that, but in theory, if it weren't for those crazy shots, they would have won that round based off of that one call. So in the end, the result wise, it does look pretty comfortable for Astralis, mostly thanks to great play from Device with the AWP, but yeah, a bit unfortunate they lost both pistols.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about where this leaves them in the series, of course, going into Overpass after a quick break. But when we come back, Overpass is the next map, and we're going to be diving into that one to see if we will see a third map. That will be the question that we are indeed asking. So stay with us as we prepare ourselves for map 2.